Today's pizzas are brought to us by Does It Chiropractic, and the microphones you hear us on are brought to us from Empire Towing and Recovery.
Listener's discretion is advised. Sawbells Podcast.
All right, folks, welcome back to episode number 5, week 4 of the Bills. Yep, you heard that correct. We have sponsors, so round of applause for the team. And thank you for the partnership that we have started with Doug's Chiropractic and Empire Towing and Recovery. That being said, we will get into the pizzas this week. We have Mustachios versus Macy's. Mustachios is over on Elmwood and Girard, I believe, and Macy's is on the corner of Delaware and Hamilton Boulevard. All right, Kellen, why don't you start us off with our first category with the presentation?
All right, for the presentation, that one goes to Mustachios because when I looked at that pizza, I was like, damn, that looks like it's going to be a good pizza. The pepperoni was like perfectly charred on the sides. And then when I was looking at Macy's, it just, I don't know, it didn't look as good. The pepperonis were not charred, and it had like all this other seasoning on it. And that didn't really appeal to me.
That was my favorite. That's what I liked. I liked Macy's better. When you looked at it and they had looked like they had taken some cheese, kind of sprinkled it all over the top of the pizza afterwards and just let it melt in a little bit. Looked good to me. Presentation for me went to Macy's. I liked theirs a little bit better. Even though I did get excited when I saw a little bit of char on those pepperonis on the Mustachios. I do like it that way.
Let me interrupt for a second as moderator. We do have a new guest today with us. His name is Jamie, and I've known him for approximately 9 years. A former NOCO individual. The other two voices you do know is Kellen and Skip. So, Jamie, why don't you give us a 2-second hello or intro or bio?
Hello. My name's Jamie. I work with Kyle. That's about it. I mean, see him every day at work, and he suckered me into this. so here I am.
All right, that's true.
Lured you in with free pizza.
That's right. Okay, Jamie, why don't you continue on the presentation category?
All right, on that presentation here, I actually went with Mustachios only because when you open the box, that's like what pizza looks like, you know, the pepperoni and all that stuff, and it just looked really good. Macy's looked great. I actually enjoyed seeing the extra seasonings and all the other things they added to the pizza, but just that typical pizza look, I think, went to Mustachios. I really felt that presentation was right there.
All right.
This guy's a natural. You got to bring him back. You earned yourself a week 2 visit.
We're going to get a hold of the legal team and see if we can write up a contract before this is over. Get him while he's cheap.
Get him on a rookie contract.
Exactly. Absolutely.
All right, Sean, welcome back for another week.
I'm going to make things difficult for Kyle today because I'm going to tie up the score right here. The presentation, pepperonis. I haven't been wowed by anyone's pepperoni. No one has really differentiated their pepperoni since we've been doing this podcast. But I'm going to go with Skip, and I'm going to tie the score. Macy's hits my vote. Theirs was just unique. It was a different kind of style. I've never seen it before. The melted cheese on top of the pepperoni. It was very, very, very different. And it's right now it's 2-2, Kyle. So it's you're the tiebreaker. Go for it.
I may catch some flack for this, but as I've said in previous pizza reviews, I like a pizza that is not the standard, typical photograph of a pizza. I like them a little, obviously different and sometimes look like I don't want to say looks like a disaster, but just like it's made in an environment where it was hostile. Just they're slinging pizzas and cheese and throwing toppings and stuff like that. So that being said, and remind you, this is not throwing shade, right, Colin?
Yes.
All right, throwing shade on any pizza over another. But like I said, I do enjoy a crazier looking pizza, and I went with Macy, and that like Parmesan sprinkling topping definitely caught my eye, like that little glistening, So Kellen, what did you think about the cook time? Were they cooked enough, not enough, too much?
So for this one, I had a tie. I think they were both pretty darn close. They both tasted like they were cooked enough. Neither tasted like one was undercooked nor overcooked.
Okay.
I did not like the cook on Macy's. I thought it was just a little bit overdone, even though I do like a little bit of a char. I thought Macy's was just gave me a little bit more of a chewier taste to it when I was eating it. But but Mustachios, I thought, on the other hand, was just a little bit underdone. If they could have just left it in the oven another minute or so, I think that would have been ideal for that pizza. Jamie?
I actually kind of agree with you on that. The only thing I found with Mustachios, it was weird. It was like it was the top and the outer crust ring was almost overcooked, but then the underneath was not as much. It was kind of a weird combination. And the Macy's, I went with the cook on that only because it didn't have quite as much burnt around the outside, and I'm not a huge burnt crust guy, so that was really my preference, is the not as burnt. I just find that better for dipping the blue cheese. John?
Yeah, I'm going to take, I looked at both. The one thing that kind of separated these two pizzas, I think, was the way they were cooked. The Mustachios, I think you guys nailed it, was a tad bit undercooked, which I enjoyed. I actually liked it a little soft like that. Mm-hmm. They got my score. They got my victory. They got my points, Mustachio, for a softer, doughier pizza. Nothing wrong with Macy's. Macy's did a nice job, too, but theirs was a little overcooked, but I don't think it... I don't think it hinders the flavor either way. That's my preference. I like kind of a softer dough. So Mustachios got my points for the cook and crust category.
All right. Yeah, those are almost synonymous with each other, right? So the interesting thing about Macy's crust, and I'll come to the cook in a second, is it was almost like a deep dish crust. Really a good support structure to eat the blue cheese. I mean, let's be honest, you just need something beside your finger to eat blue cheese on. So that deep dish crust is definitely interesting. Like, I don't know if we've had a pizza that had that kind of deep dish crust that's fully top to bottom on the edge there. And the Mustachios crust was good. It had that initial crunch, and then it's tender on the inside. The cook, Macy's bottom crust was very similar to the consistency of the deep dish, where it's dense, and if you like dense, it's good. It your teeth go through the Macy's bite, or sorry, your teeth go through the Mustachios. It's a nicer, because the bottom was cooked really well on the Mustachios bottom. It's almost like if you could morph the two together, you'd really have an outstanding pizza. So I do like the denser crust, but it was a tie for me. So, all right, sorry, long-winded there.
It was almost if the Mustachios pizza, or not, sorry, I apologize, not Mustachio, the Macy's, it was almost like it was cooked in a pan. Had the little dots in the bottom. It was almost like it was... it just had a different finish to the underneath side than the Mustachios.
Almost like the opposite of pips on a golf ball, or
dimples.
Dimples, yeah.
Yeah, it had something on there, which kind of gave me a weird little mouth texture when I was eating it. But it was still good.
Yep.
Still good.
Yep. All right. Next category is cheese. Why don't we do cheese sauce toppings at one time? Colin, cheese sauce and toppings. Let her rip.
Okay. So for the cheese, I let that one go to Macy's. It just tasted a little bit better to me. It was a little more like, what you look for in a cheese. I don't know how to explain it. For my sauce, I went with Mustachios. Me personally, I think that the Mustachios sauce was a little sweeter, and I kind of like that in a sauce. Macy's didn't really have that. And then for toppings, I had to go Mustachios. That pepperoni was just delicious. The char, when you just take a bite, it's just like it had the perfect crunch. So I had to give that one to Mustachios.
I liked the cheese on Mustachios a little bit better than Macy's. Macy's was a little more solid. It didn't give a real good pull to it when you kind of ate it. You didn't have that little bit of that softness that I like, a little stringiness to it. The sauce for me was Mustachios. Macy's was just a little too sweet for me. I like sweet in my spaghetti sauce, but not on my pizza sauce. And the toppings, those pepperonis were fantastic on Mustachios. They had a little bit of a crust, burnt crust on the rim of it, and it just was fantastic. That, and I love the fact that there was a little bit of char on the crust, which gave me the whole package for me. I liked it. Jamie?
Yeah, the cheese, I agree. I went Mustachios on the cheese. I found it had a good, I don't know if the word dexterity, like a nice stretch when you were taking a bite out of it, where I found that Macy's didn't quite have that. The sauce, though, I did go with Macy's because I enjoy a sweet sauce, and I thought it was really good. I don't know if the sprinkle cheese that they use or something added to it. It was a nice add on to the sauce for me. And actually, the toppings, I went with Mustachio because of those pepperonis and the cup and char, and they just looked great and had a nice crunch to it, and it was definitely enjoyable. Sean?
Yes, when it came down to it, Macy's got my cheese, the sauce. I don't think I've ever had a sweet sauce, semi-sweet sauce is how I would describe it. When I think of it, it's in the category of a sweet sauce. Macy's is, but it's a hint of it. It's not full-blown. I do, as mentioned earlier, I do like a sweet sauce. So Macy's got my cheese, sauce, and I consider the toppings, again, the pepperoni not to be any radically different. So pepperoni was a draw for me. So that was my cheese, sauce, and toppings.
All right. Thank you. I went with the Macy cheese. It's almost like they give you free extra cheese when you don't order it. I love cheese. Everyone that knows me knows I love cheese. I've eaten bricks in a sitting, so they all know. Not to say that Mustachios didn't have enough cheese, just Macy's, like I said, gave you extra. For the sauce...
Bonus cheese.
Bonus cheese, yes. For the sauce, I went with Mustachios. It hit the dial there for me. The Macy's with the cheese on the top did give it a nice little extra to it, but the sauce, like others have said, was a level too much for the sweet, but it was still good. The topping, for sure, the Mustachios had picture-esque perfect cup and charronis. The sear on the outer rims were just pre-blackened, and they curled up nice. There was some juices in there, and Macy's toppings were also good, but the cup and char really put them over the edge. That being said, if you do want to see what we're talking about, we did start a new YouTube channel. It's called Zabills Podcast 716. ZABILLS number 716. No number, nothing, just 716. Sorry about that. Yeah, you'll be able to see what we're talking about there. All right, Kellen, And now, let's hear who you preferred.
I preferred Mustachios over Macy's. Highly recommend.
Close one for me, but when it came down to it, I think it was those pepperonis that put it over for me. And the fact that there was a little bit of char on that crust, which is what I love. I love a good wood-fired pizza if you can get a hold of one. And that's kind of what it reminded me of. So for me, it was close, but I'm going to go with Mustachios. Jamie.
Wood-fired pizzas will be coming soon.
Can't wait.
Actually, I scored mine a tie. Mustachios had a lot going for it. Like I said, the pepperonis, the cheese. The thing that just, if they were a little bit less burn on the crust, they would have had it. That's what kept Macy's in the game. Macy's with the extra cheese and the sprinkle on top of the pizza, it just made it a really good pizza. And I'm going to be honest, I split it down the middle. Sean?
Full disclosure, this is the first Pizza Zabils podcast where I have never tried either of the pizzas. So this was like a legitimate first-time taste testing for me. I just want to say that both were exceptionally filling pizzas. You order one from Mustachios, you order one from Macy's, you're going to be happy. The order from either establishment, I don't think you'll regret. That being said, my score was a close one, just like we all kind of demonstrated. I have Macy's winning the scorecard 3-2. On presentation, cheese, and sauce, where I gave Mustachios the cook and crust. I like I said, but I fully enjoyed both pizzas. They were both very, very filling. Both are very good.
So, why don't you tell me the value category here? One pizza was $25 after tax, and the other one was about $27.
Yeah, I don't think there's $2 difference there. I think we haven't really reference coupons or things like that. But at 25 and 27, I think you're getting pretty decent value out of the pizzas. They're so close that if value is important to you, who is 25?
Mustachios.
You might lean towards Mustachios. That might be the $2 difference because, like I said, both pizzas were very similar. Both were very filling. I didn't really have a knock on either of them. It really was just my preference, and that's my take. But
Both were great.
if we consider value something, then Mustachios might be where you go.
I will give the Instagram category to Macy's because if you don't follow them on Instagram, some of the stuff they come up with is wild. I would definitely. They are good follow on Instagram.
Oh yeah, they are definitely.
They're innovative.
Crazies. Oh yeah, the dessert,
innovative is
the dessert pizzas and everything they come up with are pretty crazy. Okay, so I'm going to catch a lot of ridicule here, especially in the family because I have 3 family members that work at this establishment, and today I'm.
You sure you want to do this?
I'm going with Macy.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner is not going to be fun at your house.
No, I'm like I said, I'm going to catch a lot of grief. But the 2 pizzas were similar, very similar. One edged out one category, the other one edged out another category. That being said, we had two for Macy, 2 for Mustachios, and we had Jamie on a split. So either pizza you're going to go with is a phenomenal choice. Phenomenal choice. You're not going to go wrong with either one of them. So whatever you're feeling on that particular day, is a good choice. So, so that's going to wrap that up. Like I said, we still have the Instagram, Zabils podcast. We're going to put some reels there, and YouTube, we're going to do the shorts, and you'll be able to see the cheese pull. So these 2 pizzas definitely did slap. Right, Colin? Is that what we say?
You want to give definition of slap, please?
Fire slaps. Yeah,
Do not say fire slaps.
Why? What does that mean?
Nothing. It just doesn't sound good.
Oh, so these pizzas just slaps?
These pizza, in fact, slapped.
Okay, these pizzas slapped. You got it right there. So two slaps?
Slapped.
Okay.
Plural.
Okay, never mind. All right. So real quick before the Bills game starts, I'm just going to do a little quick refresher on who predicted what score. I predicted Bills 21-20. Corey, hope you're feeling better. Bills 34-30. Bill, wherever you may be in your journeys. He went Bills 27-14. Skip went Miami 35, Bills 32. Sean, nail biter, field goal, victory in overtime, Bills 35-32. Dennis is also picking the Dolphins 31-24. Brendan, who is partying somewhere, Bills 28-21. Chris, who is taking a nap because he got up every morning the last couple of days to watch the Ryder Cup, I believe is what it's called, right? Over in England.
What's the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, he picked the Bills 29-24. Our friend Connor picked the Bills 24-21. Kellen picked the Bills 28-24. Our good friend Bob from Trivia, he did give us some input and insight on this. He's going Bills 27-24. And I've got a friend, Joe M., who he knows who's out there. He picked the Dolphins 41-27. So that being said, let's go Bills, and we will talk to you after the game. Have a good one. Wow, what a game that was. Holy smokes. Never expected that, right? I mean, that was incredible.
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable performance, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a better Bills game this season. I mean, hopefully they can keep this going, but oh, man, what a statement win.
Absolutely. Just an absolute throttling. First quarter was back and back, and then they put their foot on the gas and said no more. Defense took over. Offense cranked it up. We came out with a big W.
And that's the pattern. Bills are going to take a look and see what you got. The defense will make adjustments, and like an anaconda, squeeze you to death. Squeeze you to death.
I love it. You and your terms.
Well, Skip, what's your initial impression?
My initial impression is that Sean is in mid-season form on his what is that called when you make that little analogies, your hyperboles? I'm not an English teacher.
I'm
You're a
not
social
sure.
studies teacher.
Metaphor? I think it's a metaphor,
Whatever
sir.
you want to say, man, but you are in mid-season form.
I'm feeling it.
You pull the anaconda out from nowhere.
I'm feeling it right now. You know, the Bills were not accustomed as a Buffalo fan base to enter big games and not have a 13-second wide right, no-goal moment. And the Bills, they looked, as you were talking about, they looked like they were in mid-season form. This had the feel similar to last week against the Commanders of they always seemed in control of the game. There was never a time where I saw them panic. Josh made smart plays. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was built to be the game of the year in the entire league, and the Buffalo Bills showed up and put a beating on their division rival. A beating. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your new updated current AFC East division leaders.
Nice.
No, it really was a good game. I mean, they got in there. I was a little uneasy going into the first quarter, and then once they stepped it up and were able to shut down Miami, they were able to run away with it. But honestly, like I think all the hype, obviously because of last week's 70-point game, Miami had all kinds of hype coming into this week. And I was just glad to see the Bills kept their composure, were able to shut them down, and they were able to play they turned this game into their game and played their game plan throughout, and it was just nice to see.
They never had to deviate one time. They dictated the game from the beginning to end.
I don't think there's a question that the Bills' offense is not going to score today. It was a matter of how the defense was going to be able to stop that 70-point offense. But then again, we saw today Denver allowing a lot of points, but not as much, minus 70. But the defense was the win. The defense was awesome today.
After the first series, I think I wrote down on my Bills notes plate, the Bills D plus a running game could be game-changing for this game. You know, that was kind of my first impression was if the defense kind of can hold their own and be a difference maker and the Bills can take it and show they can run against Miami, that's your formula for success, and the Bills did that more.
I mean, the defense was awesome. I mean, you had their biggest receiver was Tyreek Hill, 58 yards on 3 catches, which he's going to get his.
That's unbelievable.
But no touchdowns.
Unbelievable that they kept him out of the end zone.
Out of the end zone and not scoring 100 yards like he's been doing, or close to it. Waddle came back from the concussion, had 46, still held him. No touchdowns. They look good. Defense looked good. How many sacks did they have?
Total
was
sacks.
crazy.
They had sacks, the rushes starting in the second quarter all the way through the rest of the game. They decided they were going to blitz more and put pressure on Tua because that was going to be the way they were going to stop the long passes. And that was a simple switch for the defense, and they were very effective. They're rushing. The front four again showed up without Von Miller. And I mean, some of those plays at the end of the game when there was Miami 3rd and 27 and they had 7 guys, 10, 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. The Bills front four were still getting pressure, still getting hands into his face. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, looking here, it's 4 if I can count right. Russo had 2, Oliver had 1, and Jones had 1. And yeah, that's great. They were getting in the backfield, and I've been one to harp on the Bills' offensive line a lot, and it looks like they only gave up 2. It was that Ginkle got in the backfield twice, and other than that, honestly, Allen had some time. He was able to make some moves, and he didn't have to rush the plays and have mistakes like have happened in week 1.
But what a difference. He doesn't run the ball. No plays are being called for him to run the ball this year like we saw last year.
Well, he had the touchdown.
He did. But what I mean is, he seemed like it was every other time he's running the ball.
We talked about this. After week 1, this podcast should have been the anti-Josh Allen podcast because we took him to the woodshed. We took him to the cleaners, rightfully so. And clearly a podcast, Zabil's listener, the Buffalo Bills franchise did a 180 with Josh Allen and literally, if just taking our advice, when Josh Allen is not the focal point of the game, the Bills are highly successful. He had one of the, from my take, and we'll probably get in this a little bit later because I'm not going to let this argument die. He had one of the best games of his career, bar none. And I don't even know if he's your focal point. I'm not sure if he's as impressive as the Bills defense. How many takeaways do they have?
5.
If we're not talking necessarily fumbles, but 4th down, stops. I think the defense had 5. They shut down the Miami Dolphins on 4th down or picks or fumbles 5 times. As impressive as Josh Allen's game was, I still think the Bills defense gets the first overall star.
And then how many other turnovers could they have had if they weren't called back for a penalty?
Trey White dropping that one.
Yeah. Trey White dropped one. Hopefully he isn't too hurt and will be back soon.
That would be great. It doesn't look good. That's the only real negative, I think, of this game. Obviously, an injury of like that magnitude feels a little better when you get a win, but it still hurts to have him down. And, we saw him react as if there is something wrong, something seriously wrong. We just hope he recovers and the tests come back that he's it's a minor injury. And that's our hope and our prayers and our thoughts. And that's, that was the only negative.
I can think of. Hate to lose a player like that, but it is football.
The defensive players that have come in with high expectations who kind of been underachievers, I think, finally made a name for themselves today. Russo had 2 sacks. Ed Oliver, who got an extension, played very well today. Floyd is being effective as a free agent. Milano's, I think he had a wow game today. You like to see Skip every other, have a big game. Bernard was a little quiet, but that's okay. It was more of a gang effort today than just a solo performance.
No, he did get hurt, so he left.
No, I think that was Benford.
I apologize.
And then he came back.
But we saw a pattern again, this glorious Buffalo Bills pattern. They seem to give up a drive from the opposing team. That team's going to come down. We saw that with the Raiders. I don't remember if we saw that with the Redskins last week, but certainly the Dolphins' offense after the Bills scored looked like they were last week, unstoppable. And in my brain, I just said, well, okay, this is a pattern. Let's see if they're able to tighten it up. And they were able to. They were able to take over the game and really shut down Miami. No one seemed to have any sort of strategy for getting past the Bills. It was a bend, don't break defensive strategy, but overall, it was a remarkable game. Unbelievable.
What do you guys think now of Dorsey and McDermott?
I feel much more confident than I did last year. I think it's only 4 games in, but I think we can accurately say that the problem with the Bills' defense last year was the coordinator. They're playing better with McDermott calling the plays. They're not as timid. They make quicker adjustments.
Definitely more aggressive.
Much more aggressive.
Blitzing more.
And I think Dorsey's finally got the message. I think he calmed himself down after 1 year. He's not putting Josh in bad situations. He's calling the right plays. He's setting us up for the possibility to win, as opposed to last year where there were so many long balls. And maybe that's Josh audibling off. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. But they do both seem like they're calling excellent game plans so far. I'm just so impressed with the adjustments the defense makes so much more quicker than they have in the past. It seems like they can go down one, they might drive down on us, and McDermott comes back and says, okay, that's not working. We're going to adjust to this, and this, or whatever he's doing, and somewhat shuts them down. What are your thoughts, Jamie?
The defensive adjustments have been absolutely incredible this year after the first week. Last year, you sat there watching the same play quarter after quarter, getting down the field, and just they'd never seem to do anything about it. You'd watch the same play, and you're just like, what are we doing? They just did that. And no, this year, play works really well for an offense, and it's the next time they try it, it seems we at least have an answer, or at least something to slow them down. And like you're saying with the Josh Allen, the running last year, not running so much this year, yeah, you did have the running touchdown today, but that was a design play that if nothing was there to run it in, which is huge. It's better than that scramble, 10-yard, 30, 20-yard run down the field. And I'm sorry, and I know you guys talked about this last week, but thank God he is sliding. I've never seen someone slide, and I'm so happy to watch him slide. I'm so tired of watching him take those hits. They're just completely unnecessary.
I'm going to get ahead of this right now because as the game was winding down, I had already decided who my game balls were going to, and it was a combination of Sean McDermott and Ken Dorsey. That's how good of a game this was with all the talents. Josh's numbers look great. The run game continued to stay firm. We already talked about the defense, how great it was, but my game ball would go to both Sean and Ken Dorsey. They looked like they had a game plan 8 days ago, ready to go for Miami. They sold it to their players. They said, we're going to do this. This is how the offense and defense is going to go. And this was maybe the first game all year where I felt that the Buffalo Bills outcoached their opponent. I felt like I know we talk about that at the end of the podcast, but I had written down McDermott and Dorsey my game balls for this game.
Well, since you jumped to the game ball section of the podcast, I also would agree that definitely Dorsey. I feel like I'm watching more West Coast offense. And with the players that we have, I believe they're finally coaching for the players that they have on their roster and not trying to make players fit their scheme. And it looks very comfortable for everybody out there. They all know where they're supposed to be. They know what they're supposed to be doing. And Dorsey, I think, is finally coming into his groove. Now, granted, it's only 4 games in. Hopefully they can keep this momentum going. I am a big fan right now of McDermott's defense. They're getting aggressive. They're also playing controlled. They're not going upfield uncontrolled. They are staying home. Yes, there are 1 or 2 plays that they did lose contain that really rattle Sean's cage while we watch the games. It is very frustrating. The one thing that I would love to see the Bills do is shut down these big runs. They're facing good running backs, and they're struggling to make the big tackles because yes, they won by 28 points today, but there are a few plays that they had a guy stumbling like at the line of scrimmage, and then they rip off another 20, 30 yards. So it's frustrating to see that kind of stuff going, but hopefully they can clean that stuff up going forward. But I'm definitely impressed with McDermott, and everyone's heard me say that I'm not a McDermott guy. so far I'm liking what I'm seeing. So I've been converted, I guess. So game ball to those two guys.
Nice.
Do you guys want to give your game ball and then we'll get into some other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. The coaches, both of them, mixing it up. I'm just looking at some of the stats. It looks like 8 different guys saw the ball, receiving the ball, and 3 guys carried the ball. We're mixing it up. You don't never know what you're just going to come and where the ball is going to go. And I think you just keep. You got those two tight ends, Kincaid and Knox. They used them quite, in the first quarter, and then it seemed that using them underneath opened up the longer ball down the field, and they were able to just keep the ball moving on the ground. And I think you keep mixing it up back and forth like that, you're going to find something open somewhere. So, I mean, it was a great game to watch and well coached on both ends of the ball.
You got a game ball? You can't pick Dorsey.
All right, fair enough. You know what? I guess I will go with, let's see here. I'm even going to go with, I'm going to go with Milano. He had, 8 tackles. He was out there. He was all over the field. He was, he put pressure out there and really, helped get the offense back out on the field.
Good call on that one.
I am going to give my game ball to the entire defensive line. I thought they were fantastic. They have been rushing with 4. You don't see a whole lot of blitzes out of this team. They had that great one with White coming off the edge. But they have been rushing 4, been getting pressure. I know we've had some issues with some long runs, but for the most part, they've been containing the run. They've been getting – it's so good to see that we can get – and we're only going to get better when Von Miller comes back. Only going to get better. I think that right now is our strength, is the fact that we are so deep at defensive line. It's a joy to watch them play. So my game ball goes to the entire defensive line.
Yeah, that being said, it looks like Russo, he feels like he belongs. Ed Oliver, contract aside, feels like those two guys have made it. They've had an impact all season. You're now going to bring a veteran like Von Miller in off the bench, literally. Hopefully they take care of him. They make sure he comes back the right way. But that front 4 is going to be unstoppable going forward. As injuries aside, as long as they keep plowing. I mean, Russo, I feels like he's gone another level this season, which happens. When you're a rookie, you take some time. 3 years in his career, he looks like he's first round quality, and the Bills hit again in the first round.
So do you think that's coaching, or do you think that is the effect of a guy like Von Miller, who is a Hall of Famer, taking those guys under his wings and saying, hey, listen, let me show you the little things that you can do. I see your game. Try this, try that. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B. It's a terrible answer to give you. I should be able to give you 1, but you need to have patience with young players. I think that's where coaches, even general managers, tend to struggle, is they give up on players way too early, and they've let them basically simmer. They've let them cook the right way, and all of a sudden you're seeing the results of patience. And you can't help having Von Miller be your number 1 fan, being a cheerleader, someone with that stature, with his talent, with his pedigree, with his track record, Super Bowl winner, coming in there and talking your game up every single day. I mean, that's just great medicine right there. So I think it's both. I think really you got to give credit to both Von and the Bills coaching staff for having patience to see these guys grow instead of just training them, shelving them, beating them down until they have their confidence is 0.
So has got a wingspan like a condor.
He's a beast.
That guy is just, I think I saw a stat. What is he like? That poster used to be up at Wegmans. What was he, 6 foot, 6 inches from fingertip to fingertip?
He's a monster.
Like, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
The tip balls were great today. Watching those hands get thrown up and knocking the ball down. It's not as good as an interception, but if the ball never makes it to the receiver, that's a great defensive strategy right there.
You got that right.
Absolutely. Okay, so you heard earlier that we do have 2 sponsors, and we'll get to them in a second. But let's tackle 2 things. Dudzik Chiropractic is the official chiropractor for the Za Bills podcast team. And that being said, I want to go around the table and ask everyone what they thought was the back-breaking play of the game? Skip, why don't you go first?
Where do I start? There's too many to choose from.
We had a bunch.
Because we were going through this and
Every
we kept
time.
writing down, okay, this is it. And then 2 minutes later, nope, this is it. Nope, this is it. I think that it definitely would be defense. I would say the fumble recovery. I think they were getting ready to go down. I think it could have been a change. I think when they recovered that fumble, to me, that would be the back-breaking play of the game. Because they had gotten that long run, or am I getting my plays confused? Were they the long run and they were going to go down?
Are you talking about Miami's?
Yeah.
That one?
That was turnover on down, so that wasn't right.
Right, yeah, absolutely. But they gave up that huge run. Then it was the touchdown, got called back on Miami, and they ended up scoring no points. Went fourth down, and they ended up taking 7 off the board, and Miami got nothing
All right, I'll
out
take
of that drive.
That's mine.
Okay. Jamie?
I'm taking that one.
I'm going to go with that extra effort by Hardy when he caught that ball on the knees. No one touched him. He stood up, and he did that 2-yard stretch and got the first down. I mean, you're out there, you're already up in the game, and you're showing that extra effort to get that first down. It was great to see, and it just shows that everybody has a ton of heart out there, and they want these wins. It's nice to see.
To piggyback on that real quick, sorry, Sean, is I've noticed this season that guys are, when applicable, they are stretching plays. They're stretching the plays when they need to and being smart about it, because I know Diggs is known for just going down like a sack of potatoes, and he's smart enough, he's been around long enough that he knows when to stretch it and not stretch it, and I totally agree with your call on the Hardy. Let's see what Sean says.
Jamie totally was that student looking over my shoulder and copying my answer, and I'm so not ready now because
Welcome to my world.
I've got something. Though, because I literally wrote down the Hardy thing. I actually called it. I said if they get a first down here, the game's over. They're going to win. And we know what happened. I'm going to call the backbreaker play. If you can recall from, I believe, the second quarter. I believe it was second quarter because I wrote this down. The Bills scored, or something. I can't remember if they scored a touchdown and they got it called back on a play that I have never heard of really before. Re-reporting, and I believe this was the Diggs touchdown in the end zone. They either scored or I just wrote down right after Diggs got the touchdown for that one. Suck it, re-reporting. So the Bills got that penalty right there. I have to go back and look at it, but I don't know if they got a score pulled back. But then the next play, they just basically, it was Diggs in the end zone, and that's going to be my backbreaker play of the game, and the Bills never took the foot off the gas as far as I'm concerned. Shout out to my favorite Bills player, Kyle Allen, made another appearance. I'm his number one fan. Love straight through. I want to see a full quarter of Kyle Allen this year before the season's out.
I was just going to say, you need to see him like late third quarter, right?
And whatever. Fourth, I would have liked him the last 15 minutes, but I'll take it. Kyle Allen, lots of love. He's in there again, my favorite Bills player.
Backbreaker play is going to be a couple of those handful of sacks late, like in the third quarter, where you could really start to see the momentum start shifting, and the defense just was relentless on them. And I'm trying to think one. Maybe it was the Jones sack where he came in and pretty much pancaked him and laid on him. I think after that was a real shift in the energy. And then our other sponsor, Empire Towing and Recovery, we're going to do the Empire Towing and Recovery moment of the game. So was there a moment where the Bills made a recovery where maybe things were possibly shifting one direction and they came back and recovered and momentum shifted back in their favor?
No one was happier than Trey White after that missed opportunity right there. But it won't even be a footnote in history because the next play they get the fumble recovery. right there and then. And the Bills, that was pretty much the nail. Now we know this, but it was the nail in the coffin. The Bills get the turnover in Miami's territory. They only get 3 points out of it, but that was still at a point where these teams were trading scores, and it looked like Miami at any point could go down and score. We get that turnover. We get 3 points out of it, but I believe that one puts us up not 14, and puts us up 17, and we go in the half up 17, feeling exceptionally well. But no one felt better after that than Trey White, because it was right in his hands. He could have gone for a pick six. That, to me, would have been the towing moment of the game.
Okay. I will take the Micah Hyde interception. So, sorry, Jamie. Jamie wanted it.
I was Googling exactly when it happened.
Snatched it right out of your hands. Sorry.
Fair enough.
We should probably go over notes before we do this next time, so we're not fumbling all over each other. But no, it was so good to see him. He's still got wheels. He's such a smart player. Again, that defense, I'm just so impressed with the defense this year. And I would say, they look like they're playing on a different level. They're playing with more confidence. They really haven't missed a beat. It's just fun to watch. Jamie, do you have one? Have we given you enough time? I stalled long enough?
I want to say, oh, God.
How about you, Kyle? You got one?
Yeah, Kyle, why don't you go?
Come on, Kyle. Stall a little more for Jamie. What do you got?
The recovery moment of the game. I don't know. There's many Josh Allen touchdowns that, he freaking looked amazing.
I'm going to put it out there because it's got to be said, because I'll kick myself if I don't. This could look very badly in, I don't know, a month, 2 months, end of the season. But one of the major discussions we had, and I feel very strongly about this is one of Josh Allen's. This might be the best game he's ever played in the Bills uniform.
And we argued with you during the game that his best game to date was Kansas City 13 seconds.
And I looked both. I looked at both, and it just these stats are unbelievable. And like I said, Allen's been overshadowed with the Zal Bills podcast again because of how great the defense played. His numbers are off the charts. 21 for 25. Did some quick math in my head. It's 84% completion. 4 touchdown throws, 1 touchdown run for 320 yards. Conversely, Kansas City, which obviously, Skip, I know you brought up a great point, playoffs, different scenario. His numbers were just as good. I believe he had 4 touchdowns that game too, but his completions were only 73%. I think he was 27 for 37 in a Bills loss. I think this, and it will look bad.
Bigger moment, though.
Yeah, I know it's a bigger moment, and it will age poorly, I assume, but that quietly,
get canceled on this.
I might get canceled. Well, you know what? I'll jump to. I've already put a lot of stock in Kyle Allen, so I've got a little life jacket there. But this could be an awful take in a month or 2 months or whatever. But this might be the greatest game he's played as a Buffalo Bill. Think of the hype that we all talked about coming in. Think about how we view, or at least I did. This could be the greatest NFL game of this season for 32 teams, and he put up 5 touchdowns, 320 in the air. And he's not the main theme. He's not the guy we're giving all our love to the defense, rightfully so.
Right, because the team they just played scored 70 last week, which is the second highest total in many years. And they come in and hold them to 20. And we almost put 50 on them.
Right.
A 50 burger.
You should have.
I wanted, but no. Kyle Allen had to come in just to shut Viola up.
League MVP. League MVP Kyle Allen. You've heard it from me. He's going to get some love. I'll vote for him. Every time that man's on the field, God willing, it's in a relief effort. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
All right, guys, that was brought to us by Empire Towing and Recovery. 716-674-2400. 674-2400 for any of your towing or hauling needs that you need. Give our boys over at Empire a call.
Speaking of them, I know the owner pretty well, Adam, and he is a terrific guy. And actually, we had to use him today because Dennis was making his way up here on the podcast recording and had a breakdown and had to call Adam to tow him. And we're going to get Denny here on the phone, I believe. We're going to have our first on the scene.
We practice this, folks. Hopefully this technology works.
So work. Or
We'll see.
all right, stand by. All right,
Okay, here we go.
here we go.
Countdown.
Let's see.
Technology's a great thing when it works. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hold on there. Hold on, sir. Hold on.
Here we go.
All right, Denny, you there?
Yep.
All right, so we got you on here live on the Za Bills podcast. We just told them that you couldn't make it today because your car broke down on your way up here, and Adam from Empire Towing and Recovery, you called them up and they saved your keister and took care of you.
Yeah, Empire is great for all your car care needs. So that's who to go with.
Yeah, speaking of that, they local towing flatbed services. They have a 9-car hauler, a 5-car hauler, a 4-car hauler, and they also are getting into the commercial truck repair game. And this year they're celebrating their 20-year anniversary, and they have 18 trucks. So again, Empire Towing Recovery, West Seneca, New York, 716-674-2400, 506 Bullis Road. Give Adam a call. Good guy. All right, Dennis, while we got you on the line here, what did you think?
I thought it was a great game. I can honestly say I've never been happier to be wrong because I thought the Dolphins would win. But the Bills proved me wrong and everybody else wrong, I think, too. And they did it in a way that I didn't think that they would do it. They did it with their offense, playing the right way. The defense came up big sometimes, but especially that interception by Hyde. But I think overall the offense was just too good for them.
So were you more surprised that the defense played that well or the offense scored that many points?
I was more surprised with the defense, honestly. Like they, I mean, it's great because we're going to be getting Von Miller back next week, I think it is. And so that's huge because we had some injuries in the secondary there today. So I think the pass rush was huge. We had a few sacks. Rosu had a couple of them. And, I thought the defense really set up big, especially when we needed them to. And, 'cause the first couple possessions the Dolphins had, I thought it was going to be a score fest, but they clamped down pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. When they started just trading touchdown for touchdown for touchdown, I'm like, all right, somebody's got to get a stop here, and because otherwise this could get out of hand. And finally, the Bills' defense showed up.
Yeah, I was kind of frustrated because I thought it was going to come down to that interception that Trey White dropped. I think it was the second quarter. He dropped it like right in the middle of the field, and I was thinking at that time, I was like, well, that's our chance right there. That's what's going to put us over the top. But I guess we didn't need it. I mean, I'm always talking about Josh Allen with the hero ball. Like, there's no hero ball. He had a great game, and I think that's what kind of did it for us today.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, Dennis, it's Skip. Quick question for you.
Hey, what's up?
With
Hey.
Trey White going down, how do you think it's going to affect the season, the rest of the season? And do you think they bring Elam up, or are we going to have to suit him up next week, or are they going to need to keep him inactive and try and see what they can get for him on the open market?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I think they'll start Elam next week. I think, and I think with getting Von Miller back, I think they're gonna try to get more of a pass rush than they did before. Even though it was pretty good today, I think that's what they're going to try to do, is to try to play a little bit more zone in the back end and try to get more pressure.
Dennis, Kyle, do you think they should bring Von Miller to London or let him just stay here and wait till we come back?
Nope, bring him to London. I think the 4 games was good enough. I think that we need him to play to what's the saying, like all gas, no break. So I think you bring him to London if he's healthy and see where he goes.
I almost want to disagree with you on that. I think you don't need him yet. I think you let him get more another week of game preparation, speed, and endurance. And as of right now, I don't see a weak spot right now that they put Tua down several times. What you say they had 4 sacks?
I believe they had 5
sacks.
How many hurries and pressures and they were in his face a lot.
Dennis, I'd like to see them hold him 1 week, but I also see your point too. Get him in there faster, maybe.
I think what I would have done if I was the coach, and I'm not, unfortunately.
You could be. You could be though.
Yeah, hopefully someday. I think what I would have done was I would have sent Von Miller to London like this week. Like had him be there for a little while, get acclimated, make sure that he's feeling good, and that way he can, of course they're gonna, I would think that you'd put him on like a pitch count, so to speak, that kind of thing. But get him to London, that way he's not jet lagged or whatever.
Dennis, this is Sean. Who's your game ball? Who gets your game ball this week?
Oh, I think it's got to be Diggs. I mean, like that, like even in high school football, they tell you to play to the whistle. And so that play where I think it was a 55-yard touchdown where he was on the sidelines and he was, there's defensive, I don't know, it was pass interference or holding or whatever it was. He played through it and he ended up scoring the touchdown. Now, if he stops, they blow the whistle. Who knows? Like that kind of play, I feel like, is the kind of play that helped us win today. Even though the score wasn't close, I feel like plays like that is winning or losing right there.
I'm so glad you said that because I don't feel we give Diggs enough credit, and he had a great game, quiet game, two touchdowns. But you brought up that play, which I had slightly forgot about. 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
After skip through the challenge flag, and it turns out he's right.
And you.
I know.
You are the fact checker.
I'm the fact checker there. 3 touchdowns for him. And it was, but you're that one play, you're absolutely right. We call him a genius for giving himself up, but he fought through 2 Dolphins and ripped, I believe that was the longest play of the year for the Bills right there. That touchdown you talked about.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I feel like, football comes down to, you always say blocking and tackling, but it also comes down to little things like playing through the whistle. I think another thing that I noticed was our offensive line for the most part was pretty good. Now Josh is pretty good at shifting over and all that stuff, but I thought our offensive line, like I'm a real big offensive line guy, and I always say that they don't do good enough or well enough, and I thought they did pretty well.
Do you think that they should have tried to put 50 up on them?
So I was saying that they should have kept Allen in the game. I was like, what did they take him out with 6 or 7 minutes left?
Yeah.
I said that they should have kept him in the game. But I mean, in hindsight, that's probably the better move to get him out.
We need Kyle Allen in there. It's not a complete victory unless Kyle's in there. This just came off the presses from the NFL Twitter feed. In today's Buffalo Bill victory, Josh Allen became the second player in NFL history with 300-plus passing yards, 4-plus TD passes, 1 rush TD, and a perfect 158.3 rating, the highest attainable mark in a single game since Aaron Rodgers in 2019.
Hats off to Josh Allen. Way to go.
Gotta give him love.
You know what? That deserves...
Absolutely.
Way to go.
We might have to throw away we might have to throw away the hero ball thing, that we always talk about.
Yeah, that hero ball, yeah.
Yeah, that
I think
makes me nervous when he does stuff like that.
Right. But it was quiet.
I think Josh Allen deserves the train.
There you go. I think that Josh Allen, the Bills have only lost 1 game where Josh Allen runs a touchdown and has 1 or more passing touchdowns. So I think that's always a big stat to remember, too.
Also, Dennis, did you hear Nance? Sean brought it to our attention because we were gossiping or something during the game. Can you believe that 31 points was the most points the Bills have scored in a first half in 30 years?
Really? I didn't hear that. That's pretty crazy.
I'm going to have to do some more fact checking on Jim Nance and his staff.
I like Jim Nance. I think
he's got that one right. To do it in this game too is pretty special. Like, this game was huge because if we lose this game, we go to 0-2 in the division, which is big for the end of the season. But now we're 1-1. We're sitting pretty at the top of the division now.
Oh, so, absolutely! This was a huge divisional game. Huge divisional game.
I mean, like growing up in the 80s and 90s, with Jim Kelly and Dan Marino, the Dolphins were always a huge game. But now that the teams are both pretty good now, it's nice to see the rivalry back.
What do you think about coaches Dorsey and McDermott now?
I think McDermott's doing great with calling the defensive plays. I like it much better this year than last year, where last year we were always playing off the ball. We're always waiting for things to happen. And I think in some of the situations you have to do that, but you have to make things happen. So I like seeing every now and then there's a blitz, or I think Trey White came in and he didn't get the sack, but he hurried to throw. And little stuff like that is those little stats that don't get counted. That means a ton.
We all were in agreement here. I'm pretty sure that McDermott, with his aggressive play calling lately, I believe is helping them play better.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as Dorsey goes, I think that he's doing pretty good. I think that if you can have a little bit of a run game and a short passing game, that sets up the long ball a little bit. And there you go. When you're forcing the safeties to play off the ball as much as possible, then that helps you out.
Do you think they're looking more and more like a West Coast offense?
I do actually. I actually thought about that a few days ago about how there's more dink and dunk than there was before. And the thing that Josh Allen did today was he proved that that's what we can do. Like, we can kind of control the ball. And, I think the big thing is, like, Dalton Kincaid, he had, 3 or 4 catches. And they didn't go for a lot of yards, but they were, I think a couple were for first downs and, like, right in the middle of the field. I think that you need those little things to happen to make the bigger things happen. So,
yeah, because I think the only ball that he threw downfield that was an errant ball, and only because Shakir couldn't hold it off his shoulder pad in his helmet. Otherwise, he looked really good for the couple that he did go downfield. Otherwise, everything was all that medium range, and his accuracy this year is I like his accuracy. He is not throwing crazy high balls really behind guys, other than the Jets game where he, looked a little, jazzed up. He was a little too jazzed up in that one, but he's starting to look real focused, I think, now.
He is.
Yeah, he's looking good. I feel like that Shakir ball, I know which one you're talking about, where he almost caught it on his shoulder pad. I felt like he threw the ball in a perfect place. What's that?
That would have been a 50 burger if you caught that, I'm sure, because they would have been inside the
definitely.
5.
Definitely. I mean, when the Dolphins put up 70 last week, getting a 50 would have been real nice. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
That's my favorite kind of burger.
With cheese. Okay. And then, do you have a Doug chiropractic back-breaking play of the game moment?
For me, it might not be the best hit. It was no hit actually at all. It was when Trey White got hurt. You hate seeing things like that. Like, it was a non-contact. Looks like it's an Achilles, and we probably lost him for most of the year, if not the whole year. And so we just got him back from the ACL that he had. So that's really tough to see. But that hopefully gives Elam a shot next week or the weeks after, and we can see what we really have with him, if we need to get rid of him or if he turns into something,
Yeah. Well, if he's going to come in and he's not going to look good, who's going to want the guy, to be honest? And then if he does turn out to be really good, then you might have to hold on to him because you don't know how long Trey White's going to be out.
Or what he's going to be when he comes back.
Right.
I don't think he's been quite the player that he was before the ACL that he is now. He seems a little more or less timid. He doesn't seem like he has quite the explosiveness that he had before. So 2 major injuries, I don't know how much he would have left in the tank.
I agree with that. That's what I was worried about when I saw him throw his helmet across the field. I was kind of worried that I was worried at first that it was his ACL, but then I was thinking about how when they did the replay, how he kind of hopped on one foot, and I thought of an Achilles right away, and it turns out it's some kind of Achilles injury. And so, you wonder what he's going to have left when he comes back in a year. Who knows when it's going to be, because what he just came back from. I feel like he was just starting to get back to his old form. Like, the interception in Washington last week was great. Like, how he kind of read the coverage and jumped in front of the receiver and, all that. So I feel like he was, slowly kind of coming back on, but, unfortunately, that's what happened.
It does.
The helmet throw, I think, was just pure frustration, coming back and then getting hurt again. And Dennis's point about Diggs, you know what, 100%. I think we just take Diggs for granted because he's on almost every game. It's rare that you have a win and Diggs isn't a big part of it. So, I can't. That's a great call with Diggs. And how about acknowledging him?
How about the celebration with the beer cans? That was an awful expensive celebration, don't you think? I mean, a little aggressive with 2. I mean, it was 1, but 2?
Sometimes you have to live in the moment,
Yeah, I hear you.
Somebody's out $40.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you know what, though? If I was that fan, I would
I think he'll be all right,
cool
though.
that Diggs just smashed 2 of his beers on his face mask. Dennis, do you have an Empire Towing and Recovery moment of the game?
I think that the fumble that I think it was Milano that punched out the fumble in maybe the second quarter before the game kind of got away from the Dolphins. I think that was a big thing that happened. That kind of little things like that you look for all game. They were trying to rip the ball away, and that kind of happened. So I think it was Milano. So I think that would be my recovery of the game.
Good pick on that one. Dennis, I don't want to bring it up, but you picked against the Bills.
I did, and I felt horrible doing it, but I was trying to give credence to the fact that the Bills can get beat just like anybody else can. But like I said before, I've never been happier to be wrong. That's for sure.
Well, Skip's in the same boat.
Yeah.
When you bet against them and they win, you still win.
And that's the truth.
You know?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good stuff. I mean, you never know. I think they'll definitely win in London next week, but got to keep them honest.
Well, I mean, Miami. Look what they were doing. They were undefeated, and they were just looked like a powerhouse. I don't care how bad Denver is. 70 points against another team in the NFL. That's a lot. And the Bills played well, but I think we were thinking how good is Washington? I mean, the Raiders were they so I went with my gut like you did, and the eye test told me that we were going to have I said it was close. I gave him only lose it by 3, but I'll take that and be wrong every day.
Right, and I
absolutely. And I feel like the 70, like that's a crazy number. I know it's happened before, but that's a crazy number. I knew that this game today would be much different because it's a division game. You kind of never know what's going to happen in a division game. But I thought that the Dolphins' offense, between the speed and how they do the shift before the ball even snapped, and I just thought it was too much. But I was wrong, and happy about it too.
Yeah, back to the picks from last week's predictions. No one picked any victory of the Bills of like more than 6 points. Actually, 5 I think is the big. Nope, 7. Somebody picked a victory by 7. Otherwise, nope, I'm wrong. Bill actually was the closest. He picked them by 13.
The man who knows nothing about football.
Yep, he was the closest. Yeah, he had the biggest
Way
margin
to go,
of prediction.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill. Shout out to Bill.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Neighbor Bill.
Good job, Bill.
Yeah. Okay. So, while I got you on the line here, Dennis, why don't you give me your prediction for next week?
So, my prediction for next week would be the Bills 31, Jaguars 20. And there's another thing I have to say that's not about football today. I have to wish my wife a happy anniversary. So, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you too. Speaking of wives,
thank you.
I wanted to take a second of our time here to thank all our wives and significant others and girlfriends of our podcast team to allow us to have fun with these shenanigans that we have every week of hanging out with Kyle in the basement and doing other crazy adventurous things that normally we may not do. So I want to thank,
absolutely. Where would we be without them, right?
It's the truth.
Right.
Dennis
the
has
truth.
He's got good taste when it comes to weddings in October. My wife and I will also have our anniversary later this week. And Stephanie, if you're out there, and I know you are listening to the Za Bills podcast because you're a loyal follower, thank you for letting us continue this quest, riding the coattails of the Buffalo Bills on hopefully a historic season.
Nice.
She is your toughest critic, as is my wife. Yes,
Yes.
But no, thank you to the wives and girlfriends who let us have fun doing the things that we enjoy having fun doing. So, so why don't we continue on the picks and then we'll get into a little side banter with some random stuff.
Sounds good.
Skip.
I'm going to pick the Bills this week. I think they're going to go into London. I don't think it's going to be a thump down like today's was. I think you got jet lag. You're playing a Jags team who's already been acclimated because they're staying over there. They just played England today, and they're going to stay there. So I think they're going to have a little bit of advantage when it comes to that. But I still think the Bills are the much better team. I don't know if it's going to be a high scoring. I'm going to say Bills 27, Jags 19. Anybody else who wants to be next?
I'll go
Sean?
next. This game scares me unbelievably because I put my perfect record up there with the Bills at 4-0 on the line. Jacksonville won in London today. They seem to thrive when they're in London. They have 2 games. They play today. They play next week against the Bills. The Bills have to go across the Atlantic. They've got to deal with the time adjustment. I think this is going to be a lot tougher game. I almost want to pick Jacksonville, but how can you do that? How can you pick Jacksonville after such a dominant win?
And you have a perfect record.
I do.
So far.
I do.
I'm
nervous.
Don't want to ruin that.
I think I'd feel better if I was like 3-1 or 2-2, like other participants of the podcast currently at the table. But at the same time, I got to talk myself out of it. I got to go Bills. I'm going to go. They're very comfortable scoring 30 points. I'm gonna have them going 37. I'll go Jacksonville 14. If it was anywhere but London, I think it would be a runaway Bills game. But London scares me. It does scare me. That's some serious home field advantage for the Jacksonville Jaguars, considering they're already there, and the Bills are going to have to adjust. I think they will. I think I go 5-0.
Can you repeat Jacksonville? You said 37 Bills.
14. 37-14.
Okay. Bills 37, Jacksonville 14.
Yes, sir.
But yet it scares you.
It does.
But not enough to pick a close game.
You know what?
Well, hold on.
No.
So far, the Bills, they were a 2.5-point favorite this week. They won by 28. Last week, they were a 6.5-point favorite, and they won by, 34?
Right.
And then the week before that, they were, 8-point favorites, and they won by 28.
Right. So,
Raiders.
so Vegas can't understand the Buffalo Bills is what you're trying to tell me. And
that is 100%
they clearly, I mean, if you took the over in this game like you should have, you took Vegas to the cleaners.
Dennis, did you think they were going to be over or under on 53.5?
I'm sorry, how many points was it?
53.5.
For the London game?
No. For this past game, they were 53.5. The over/under was 53.5. Did you think the Bills Dolphins were going to be over or under?
Oh, I thought they would have been over.
Okay, so you were right. Yeah. Okay.
Way to go.
All right, Jamie.
Let's see. Going into next week, I'm going to go with 28 to 24 for the Bills.
28.
And I'm giving Jacksonville the 24 because, like Skip said, they're going to be acclimated. They've been there for a week. So I think they'll be able to put some points up, but I'm really hoping the offense will be firing and we can put on more.
All right. By the way, Dennis, we have Jamie here with us today. He was at the I think you two have met before, so he was a special guest today.
Hey, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
All right. I'm going to keep my spreadsheet looking like Bills all the way down because I like patterns, I guess. I'm going to go Bills 31, Jacksonville 10. I think the momentum's going to keep rolling, and they're going to, I think, hammer them pretty good. Okay, so we'll fill in the bracket later at some other time, but all right, that's our picks for next week. We'll revisit those next week. Okay, so I had a question for you guys. Dennis, if you have to leave at any time, just let us know, but I'm going to start just BSing a little bit here. What do you guys think of this random fad, if you will call it, the ice baths? What's your thoughts on this stuff?
You mean like the players after their games? Or
No,
what do you
like
mean?
people just building an ice bath in their basement and they soak in this ice water for 3 to 5 minutes a day.
I guess if you've got issues and problems and it works and you got the money to do it, go for it.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it.
Right, medically.
I don't know if I would do it.
I've heard that can be really good for you.
I've heard great things about it. I'm just wondering if it's all hocus pocus yet or what.
I'm going to start the countdown on to when Kyle builds one in his basement. I'm going with it. 2 weeks, it'll be up down here.
Be right next to the soft serve machine.
Well, you know what? When Arctic Ice wants to sponsor that tub, then we'll get one.
You know what? I'll give a call out to my buddy Joe over at J&L Ice and see if he can. I know Joe would take care of us. If you wanted to do the ice plunge, Joe would definitely take care of it for us.
No, it would be the pre-podcast soak. We could build a big enough thing where there's 8 people in it. We could all be soaking, eating with ice cubes and whatnot.
Well, this is kind of a weird transition, so I'm going to kind of take Kyle's random question about ice baths and re-loop it back to the Bills. Damar Hamlin came back. It was great to see him play today. He had a couple of plays on the special teams. And you're talking about ice baths. It brought up the memory of Kevin Everett, who, by all accounts, should have been paralyzed, but that was one of the strategies they used, was to basically soak him in ice bath to take off the pressure. And in essence, he never played again, but he's a full functioning human being, with the capabilities of being able to walk, run. So totally off base there, looping it back, but that was at the time when that did occur in 2007. That was revolutionary because growing up as a young kid, we were accustomed to seeing football players have spinal cord injuries in the 90s, and that was looping it back to the Buffalo Bills. Want to throw out love to Damar Hamlin for making his game appearance after his January 2nd accident, if you will, and that's what I got. That's my fact for you.
Hey, good job on that, Johnny Segway.
There it is.
Johnny Segway right there. Okay. Skip, is there anything new since we last saw you?
Since we last saw me, I'm trying to think. Again, I live such a uneventful existence right now. I wish I had something cool to tell you. I wish I had something wild to tell. I will tell you one thing. I walked into my house on Friday, and we had a little bit of a sewer issue. And I'm going to tell you something. That is not something you want to walk into on a Friday after you've just got done working and you want to enjoy yourself for the day. To walk into that stench and have to walk downstairs and take care of that. Luckily, the plumber, shout out to Gideon. The man is awesome. He came all the way from Angola up to Williamsville within an hour.
Gideon,
that's the name. That's the man's name.
Not RJZ Plumbers?
RJZ Plumbers, no. I don't know if they have the snake or a camera or that kind of stuff to do that. But if Milwaukee makes it, he'll probably have it pretty soon.
You know who you are.
But he came and took care of it. He doesn't listen to podcasts. I've tried to get him in on a podcast to help enhance his business, and he just does not have the time to do it, unfortunately.
All right.
That's his loss. So he has no idea what we're talking about. He doesn't know we're talking about him.
We're talking about him now.
Someday maybe. But
so no, you had sewer backup?
Sewer backup. And I want to tell you something. This camera he had that he stuck down was phenomenal. It was high def. The light was fantastic. Could see everything. You could see the water flowing. We could see exactly where it was getting plugged, and my man Gideon took care of it, got it out, and we have some residents. The downstairs of the place where I'm at is Airbnb, and we had some residents, and it was fixed. We bleached it, got the smell out of there. While they were gone, they never knew there was an issue.
So, question about your snake. Or Gideon snake. I'd like to know, how long is Gideon's snake?
Well, we'll have to ask Gideon because I don't have that answer for you. I did not look to see what it was.
I mean, is it like on a wheel loop?
Yeah, so it's a rigid
200 feet maybe or something.
Very well, because it's a small fiber optic cable, and he kind of just slides it down there, and it's wild because it tells you exactly how many feet out, how many feet down it's gone, and then how many feet. So it knows whether it's going vertically or horizontally.
That's great for guys that have to dig out the front yard to find out exactly where your block is.
Exactly where it is. And he took a video of it, so we have the video for next time to know exactly at what location where our problem is. So if we have any issues going forward, next time if we have anything, we can refer back to the video to say, hey.
That's
and I'm sure we've lost about 20 listeners right now that have like, I can't deal with this. This is so boring. But sorry, guys, you asked me. I gave
Hey,
you
you
my
know
answer.
what? People might need a snake.
Absolutely.
You might.
Yeah.
You never
But I
know
gotta
when
do
you
say,
miss me.
shout out
Dennis.
to our sponsor, Dr. Bob over at Dudzik Chiropractic for these phenomenal skeleton hand
Back scratchers.
back scratchers he gave us to him. I gotta know, Bob, did you get a deal on these because they're left-handed? Because I'm right-handed. I would like a right-handed one, but I'll deal with the left-handed right now. But these would come in handy. I've been scratching my back the entire game.
And some their beards.
No, some are
Gotta do
beards.
what you
Yeah.
gotta do.
Jamie, do you want me to put you on the spot next, or should I go to Sean or Dennis?
With the question about what's new,
Yeah, what do you got going on? Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, not really just work.
Hauling for Jesus?
Oh yeah, just trucking for Jesus, staying working, staying busy. Just enjoying the weather while we still have it. Getting stuff from the outside stuff put away and getting ready for the BS white stuff that we know is coming.
Stop it.
We're pretty
Stop
much
it.
all I'm prepping for.
All right, Sean, I got to know, are your blow-ups all up for Halloween?
Oh, they're all 35 of them are in force.
You want to repeat that? How many do you have?
35, 37. We've got
some-
some in reserve. We just don't have the lawn space for the Halloween decoration inflatables. That is kind of takes over our life.
You ran out of lawn space.
I have run out. Yeah,
Can you rent space from your neighbors?
I've asked.
pay part of their
We've
taxes?
negotiated that with our no, not at all. With our neighbors next door, we usually make them dinner for once, twice, 3 times a week, and then all of a sudden we get to use their lawn for our Christmas and Halloween displays, and that's it. That's the dedicated of a father of 3.
I'll have to notify my wife and children that they are up so they can take the long walk home to check it out.
Absolutely. It's not too far out of the way for your kids, Jamie. Sean,
Yes, sir.
may I critique your lawn display?
You can if you'd like to. I mean, I have. This is the
I have a suggestion.
Sean
that's
and
all.
Son's lawn display thing. I've turned it over to the boys, but go for it. What do you have?
I would like to see more animatronics. And I know maybe you could sell off a few blow-ups to recoup
Right.
the cost to invest in a couple more animatronics.
There's 35 in the basement. We only bring those out on Halloween night. So just so you know, we do have plenty of animatronics.
Wait.
Yes, sir.
You have 37 blow-ups.
Yes.
Currently.
Right.
And come Halloween night,
We put out
you will
all the
then add
animatronics.
35 animatronics.
Right.
For a total of 80 of 75.
Right around there. About the 35, about 70 when everything's said and done. If it's not raining, if the weather's good, they go right in the driveway, right in the garage. We set a record last year for about 25 kids crying at our house. We're going to try to dull it down a little bit this year. I actually felt really
don't do
bad.
it.
You
Don't
There was
gotta,
a lot of
beat the record.
A lot
Go
of
for
a lot of the kids were tearing up trying to get. All they want to do is
that's
get a
funny.
candy bar, and all of a sudden they went. Parents are chasing their kids down their street because they're running from our house.
Folks, when the display is fully erect, we will get a YouTube of his show.
update.
We'll broadcast his show. We'll
Right.
show you what that looks like. You guys can write in on what you think. Speaking of listener interactions, why don't you comment, like, subscribe, review, rate, all those good things. The YouTubes, the Instagram, wherever. Let us know what pizza places you'd like us to try next. There are many, 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 many places that are very, very, very good that we haven't even scratched the surface on. We have a list of some that are coming up next. We try to have the big heavy hitters for big important games. So get at us with that stuff. Dennis, what do you? Oh, sorry. Are you
I'm all set. I'm all good.
okay? Dennis, what do you got going on? What did you and the wife, the missus, do today to celebrate? Just watching the Bills decimate the Dolphins. That's a good way to celebrate.
Yeah, she's very good about letting me watch the football. So
That foosball.
we watched the Bills beat the Dolphins, and it was pretty good stuff. Couldn't ask for a better anniversary,
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, just good anniversary stuff, and the week always goes better after Bills win. That's for sure.
Amen.
There's this could be a weird thing to discuss. I kind of was observing while I was working this week, and my stepdad has a theory that only nicely manicured lawns and properties end up with garbage on their lawns, as opposed to lawns that are not taken care of. And I started to watch my surroundings as I'm driving around, and I almost think there's something to it. And I don't know if it's because the nicer, clean, trimmed lawns allows for debris, that's for you, Corey, debris, to end up on people's lawns, or my stepdad, almost believes that people intentionally litter onto his property because it's nice, because it's not going to make a difference if you throw litter onto someone's yard that looks like crap.
I think the litter is just more pronounced on a nice lawn. I mean, if the lawn's a mess and there's some garbage in there, you may not notice it, but on that pristine lawn, it's there like a highlighter. It's just there. It is. You can see it, and it clearly drives him crazy. He has a whole theory about it.
It definitely does bother him a little bit, and I totally understand what he's talking about. I was driving around the other day, and I'm like, "Oh man, look that's a nice lawn, and there's crap all over it." But near that lawn or property was a not as well manicured, taller grassed, weedy area that also had debris caught in it.
Debris.
Yeah, debris. Corey and I like to say debris.
Is there a reason behind that, or is that just something you guys
I think
have
he
done?
likes to phonetically spell words sometimes, and debris is one of them.
He does like to go against the grain.
Yes, he does. But that's why we love him.
That's right.
So I guess there is something to. I don't know. What do you think, Sean?
I know what I think it's
Because you have a lot of nice things on your lawn. So
I
have you noticed
pride myself-
any extra debris from people driving by saying,
nothing.
"Hey, I'll throw some stuff on that guy's lawn"?
No, although with the decorations, you probably wouldn't find it until probably November 1st when they all come down. But no, we try to keep our block as crystal clean as possible. Love the town of Tonawanda.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of your front lawn, Skip, do you own a chainsaw?
I do not own a chainsaw.
That's a surprise.
Okay. Jamie, do you own a chainsaw?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I believe there may be one in the pile of stuff in my garage.
I only ask because Sean's got an ash tree that we're thinking about taking down after his blow-ups, and it's not too big. Definitely a two-man job. We'll probably limit first and then set our path of timber.
He did say ash tree, not ass tree.
Ash.
I mean, we just want to make sure the pod listeners out there, because they would just probably outside the decorations want to come see my ass tree, but I don't have that. Just an ash one. It's gotta go.
Yeah.
Just gave us a PG rating for that. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, you know what? I got to keep it clean, somewhat clean.
Okay. Do you have to leave, Sean?
I got to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Duty calls.
Well, thanks for joining another episode this week, Sean. It's always a pleasure having you on here.
It was a fantastic experience. It was a fantastic Bills win. I think Skip might have been Jamie said it's always. It might have been Dennis. I don't know who said it. I think it might have been Skip. It's always great. A Monday is that much better when the Bills win.
Absolutely.
And the way they won and the team they beat. Whew, gentlemen, congratulations,
Sean. If I don't see you before Sunday, we'll see you at 9-ish a.m. for take what you need here. Take those stickers.
Bills podcast.
Yeah. We'll see you next Sunday, 9 o'clock for the Buffalo Bills brunch game, where, yes, folks, we will be reviewing Buffalo's best breakfast pizzas. We'll have to find something for Skip to eat because I doubt he eats breakfast pizza.
I don't eat breakfast pizza.
Yeah. So
egg on my pizza.
all right, you'll have to let me know what you want.
I'll figure it out.
Dennis, are you coming to that?
Yeah. Actually, I should be there at some point. So I'm
Okay.
sure if I'll partake in the pizza for the breakfast pizza, but I'll be there.
We're going to go, Dennis. Boycott the pizza. No breakfast pizza for me. There's just some things that don't belong on a pizza. And I know I go against the grain, but you don't. Breakfast should not be on a pizza, nor should tacos be on a pizza. That's just my thoughts.
The taco I would try. I don't think I'd order it, but
No.
I actually tried a pizza once, and I was going to have them on the list. It's Grasso's out by Depew High School, and they had a baked potato pizza.
Baked potato.
It had mashed potatoes on it or something. It was kind of different, but
Oh, how was that?
Who knows?
It was
Didn't
all
we
right.
have that? What do we have? That French
We had French onion soup pizza from Gino's. That was delicious.
Was be terrible, and it was really good.
That was like the best pizza I've ever had from him. So, before we end the show, which I'm sure is coming up soon here, I just want to talk about Dr. Bob and Duzik's Chiropractic, or Dr. Duzik's Neck and Back Pain Clinic. He has 3 locations. The first one is 338 Harris Hill Road, Suite 111 in Williamsville. He has another office at 3435 Harlem Road, Suite 7, Cheektowaga. And by special appointment only, 5149 Baker Road in Little Valley. Dr. Bob also has a couple, Skip mentioned it earlier, Airbnbs in the Ellicottville area. So if that's something that ever interests you, I'm sure he would love to book those up. I don't think he's having any trouble doing that right now. So yeah, if you ever wanted to reach out to Doug's Chiropractic, you would like to call 716-634-6272, or if you want to shoot him an email, it's Dudzik, Dudzik, chiropractic @gmail.com, and I believe he's on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So again, I'd like to thank Dr. Bob and Doug's Chiropractic and Adam over at Empire Towing and Recovery for helping support the show. Every little bit does help. So next week we're going to meet for the brunch game, and we'll record after that. You might have some crazy people entertaining you on this that week, and we'll do breakfast pizzas. We all know that Tops is probably going to slap the best. And we're going to look to see what a close second would be. And
You're calling it already?
Dude.
You're calling it already?
I know you don't like breakfast pizza. You'll just have to try a slice.
Breakfast pizza is pretty good.
What was that, Jamie?
I said the Tops breakfast pizza is pretty good. I'll be interested to see who what you put up against that.
So DePaulo's makes one, Just Pizza makes one, Imperial makes one. So depending upon how early I can get any of those locations, Dennis is our South Towns delivery guy. So if it works out and he'd be willing to bring one up for us, those breakfast pizzas will be sponsored again by Doug's Chiropractic, because they are the pizza sponsor.
Yeah, you got to actually, if you get a chance, text me over that number. I'll try giving him a call, see if you can help out with the old shoulder issue and back issue we got going on some days. So, yeah, definitely send that over, and I'll maybe there'll be a review. So I've never been to the chiropractor before, so we'll see what we can set up.
You will enjoy it.
If someone else had as good as hands as Diggs, it's Dr. Bob. He's got some really good hands.
Hands like Diggs. I love it.
Hands like Diggs. That's his new slogan. Dr. Bob,
There you go.
hands like Diggs. So yeah, Dr. Bob at Doug's Chiropractic is a sponsor, and we'll just say that I met him about 22 years ago. I was delivering in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I got injured on the job. And a day or two later, I was unable to move out of my bed. And Skip had already been a client and friend of his, and he got me in, and it was a decent road to recovery for sure, but he did get me back to 100%, and I've always trusted him since. He always seems to get me back in alignment in the swing and aligned, and he's a really good guy. So a little biased there, but he has fixed me several times, and I'm sure he's helped Skip a few times because he and I both have back issues. So
that's great. Yeah, I didn't know you had both gone there. No, I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah. So
Dr. Bob's the best. You'll love him.
Yeah. Wife and
Dennis is a client also.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah. Wow.
Come on, jump on that train, Jamie.
I'm ready.
Jump on that train.
Talking about it for years. I've always had the mentality, oh yeah, I'll be fine. I can pick that up, and my back is taking some punishment over the years, and I'll be definitely getting that number from Kyle and giving him a call.
He does not only adjust adults; he also adjusts children, because my 2 boys have been adjusted also. Just to let you know, he does families.
Perfect.
So yeah. And then again, Adam over at Empire Towing and Recovery. If you ever have a breakdown or anything and need a tow, or if you own a business and have commercial trucks, they're repairing commercial trucks now. And like I said, if you drank a little too much at a Bills game and you were in the wrong spot and your stuff gets towed, he might be the guy. It might end up at his place. So, maybe he'd help you out if you mentioned the Zob Bills podcast. If you drank a little too much the day before and forgot about your car. Also, another great guy. He's got really good equipment and he's got a great staff that drive for him. So, Dennis, do you have anything else for us before we sign off?
No, nice and quiet. Just enjoying the Bills win, and doesn't get any better than that, right?
I bet on the Bills this week, and I was nervous with that bet just because 70 points against any NFL team is a ridiculous amount of points. And I thought maybe you and Skip were going the better direction on that, and I'm glad you two are wrong because today was a beautiful win. I didn't expect it, especially when they were going toe-to-toe, and then finding the Bills ran away with it. It was a great feeling. And
yeah, I think the Bills proved a lot today with the win. I think that's what do they call it, like a statement victory. So,
absolutely, they put a stamp on it now. I think I can't wait to see some of the power rankings online to see how the Bills jumped up. So I got to check in with Colin Hurd's hierarchy of power, or whatever it's called. So
Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, I only watch him for the power rankings, and I get into what he says. But I'll tell you what, as long as Josh Allen keeps playing consistently like how he's been playing, I think this team is going to be very difficult to stop. Very difficult, especially the defense is firing now, and the offense seems to have a groove. I mean, the plays they were running didn't even seem that difficult, and they were open all day. Although so was Miami, and the pass defense in the beginning kind of startled me. But
I think a big thing to think about too is with the defense is that I think Tyreek Hill only had three catches today.
3 catches,
which is
for
crazy. I mean, he's been tearing the league up.
Yards.
So yeah,
they held him to a 50 burger, your favorite kind.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, all right. Well, Jamie or Skip, you have anything else?
No, just go Bills.
Yeah, go Bills.
And Dennis, you said you were good?
Yep, absolutely. Go Bills.
All right. Hey, Dennis, thank you so much for being our call-in today, and that Adam could help you get back home, especially on your anniversary. Can't believe your wife was going to let you come up here, especially on your first anniversary, too. So
yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. She got me going, and then he got me going, so that's good.
Yeah. I'll see Adam tomorrow. I'll make sure to thank him for that one. So, but
yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week, Dennis, and hopefully I'll see you too and Sean and everybody else next week for the big Bills party. It's the annual driveway party, and what a greater day to pick than breakfast. So,
All right.
Sounds good. Go Bills.
All right.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. All right. See you guys.